I step into the grand ballroom of the Evergreen Resort and instantly feel the air squeeze out of my lungs. Chandeliers hang like jeweled constellations above me, dripping crystal light that scatters across polished marble floors. The sound of a string quartet hums in the background, polite conversation floating on the air like champagne bubbles. Wealth doesn't just sit in this room. It whispers, it glides, it stares from behind jeweled eyes. And I do not belong here. My breath hitches, and before panic can tighten its grip, Michael's hand finds the small of my back. Steady. Grounding. He doesn't need words, but still, he leans close, his surgeon's eyes scanning me with clinical precision. Breathe, he whispers. We earned our place here.
Earned. Yes.
That's the difference between me and nearly everyone else in this room. A small tug at my side interrupts the storm building inside me. Leo, my 6-year-old, fidgets in his miniature tuxedo, bow tie twisting sideways as if it, too, resents being here. Mom, he mutters, fingers clawing at the knot around his neck. This thing is trying to choke me. I kneel, smoothing the fabric with a smile I hope calms us both. Just for a little while, buddy. Remember our deal? Good behavior now, swimming pool later. His blue eyes light with reluctant acceptance. A child's patience is measured in promises of splashing water, not champagne receptions. I rise, tugging my clutch close, preparing to glide unnoticed among strangers. But then the crowd parts and time collapses.
Her profile.
That tilt of the head. The way she leans forward when she laughs, like she's confiding a secret with the room itself.
Grace.
11 years melt away in a single heartbeat. I haven't seen my sister since the night rain drenched me, suitcase in hand, and my father's voice cast me out like a stray dog. Yet here she is, radiant in a white gown, her smile polished for an audience. She turns, raising her glass in a toast, and her eyes lock on mine. My champagne flute trembles. It's the only outward sign of the earthquake inside me. Grace's gasp cuts through the music, sharp as a blade. Heads swivel. Conversations stumble. A silence, fragile but undeniable, blooms across the ballroom. And then, my mother's face drains pale, before flushing crimson. Father steps forward, his broad shoulders angling toward Grace, shielding her instinctively, just as he always has. My protector, her guardian, never mine. What are you doing here? Mother hisses. Her voice is too loud, her anger too naked. Nearby guests pause, curiosity sharpening into judgment. For a single beat, shame coils in my throat, dragging me backward to that night. I am 21 again, rain-soaked and shivering, the slam of the Collins front door echoing finality. But then Michael steps forward. His voice, firm yet measured, slices through the tension. My wife is a guest, he says, every syllable precise. She was personally invited by the groom. Whispers ripple outward. Recognition dawns like sunrise in their eyes. Medova, someone breathes. That's Amber Collins, another murmurs. Amber Collins.
CEO.
The name travels like wildfire, igniting intrigue. I feel their stares shift from disdain to curiosity, then to respect. Still, my father's voice roars in my head, as if no time has passed. If you're too ungrateful to help at the clinic, don't come back. The door slams again in memory, shutting me out of home, family, belonging. I straighten my spine, Valentino fabric smoothing over years of scars. That girl is gone. The one who begged for acceptance. The one who believed her family's version of her story. Now, I am Amber Collins. I built an empire from nothing. Grace's husband, Dr. Daniel Brooks, approaches, confusion etched on his brow. His gaze darts between us, his bride pale and frozen, and me, the uninvited ghost. You know the CEO of Medova? He asks, directing the question at my parents, but his eyes linger on me. Yes, I answer evenly. She's my sister. The words drop heavy between us. Daniel's posture stiffens, but curiosity gleams. We've been trying to partner with Medova for months. Your patient monitoring system is revolutionizing post-surgical care. Grace attempts a smile, but it falters like a cracked mask. My mother's eyes dart like panicked birds, while my father's jaw tightens. Their fortress of lies begins to quake, stone by stone. I could expose it all. Right here.
Right now.
The stolen tuition fund. The years they told neighbors I was a dropout. The sacrifices they buried under Grace's convenient narrative. But instead, I choose simplicity. Power doesn't scream. It whispers. Hello, Grace, I say, voice steady. Congratulations. The simplicity is louder than any accusation. Grace flinches as if struck. Michael's hand presses, once more against my back. Silent question. Stay or go? Leo tugs my hand, innocent to the storm swirling around us. Mom, he whispers, eyes wide. Is that lady in the white dress your friend? Daniel's head swivels, gaze narrowing. Suspicion creeps into his tone. Grace, he says slowly, I thought you said your sister was. His words trail off unfinished, hanging heavy in the crystal-lit silence. Grace's smile strains, her eyes darting between her new husband and her parents, desperation cracking her perfect veneer. For the first time in my life, I watch her struggle for words. And in that moment I know I will not leave. The music resumes, the quartet bowing through elegant notes. But the air is different now. Conversations turn hushed, eyes darting. Grace's Stanford story, her crowning jewel, is already in question. And Daniel Brooks, her new husband, is staring at me as though the ground beneath him has shifted. The champagne in my hand has gone warm, untouched. My smile is practiced, steady, but inside my pulse hammers with every sidelong glance and whisper. The Collins family always loved appearances, but appearances are fragile things. One truth is enough to crack the glass. And tonight, truth is everywhere. Grace glides across the ballroom, radiant on the outside but brittle around the edges. I know that look too well. It's the same one she wore before piano recitals when she hadn't practiced. She laughs brightly when doctors question her about new trends in medicine, but her eyes dart like trapped birds. When pressed on platelet therapy, her response falters, the pitch of her voice climbing just a touch too high. I sip at my champagne finally, letting the bubbles sting my tongue. I don't need to expose her. She is unraveling on her own. But as Daniel's gaze keeps flicking between her and me, confusion shadowing his features, I know this storm is only beginning. The music swells around me, but my mind drifts, unwillingly, helplessly, backward, to rain and shadows. I was 21, standing on the porch with a suitcase, so light it felt like nothing. A few shirts, a second-hand laptop, textbooks already water-stained from the storm. My father's face hard as stone. If you're too ungrateful to help at the clinic, he spat, don't come back. Behind him, my mother's silence weighed heavier than his words. She looked away, fingers twisting the pearls at her neck, while Grace stood in the doorway, warm and dry, clutching a blanket around her shoulders.
She didn't speak.
Not one word. The door slammed. The rain swallowed me whole. That night, I learned the bitter taste of exile. I slept on a friend's couch, damp clothes clinging to my skin, stomach growling too loudly to ignore. The next day, I started hunting for work, any work. Coffee shop mornings, hospital receptionist evenings, weekends spent at a call center, where the headset pinched my ear raw. Exhaustion was constant. Hunger, too. But stubbornness was my lifeline. If I couldn't rely on family, I would rely on myself. Community college came first, textbooks bought secondhand, and meals skipped to pay fees. From there to state university, piecing together scholarships and savings until my degree was finally in my hands. I didn't just study healthcare administration. I devoured it, tracing every inefficiency, sketching diagrams of how patient flow could be improved. And it was during one of those late-night study breaks, my forehead nearly collapsing into an open textbook, that Michael appeared. A young resident, dark circles under his eyes, yet curious enough to notice the diagrams in my margins. You understand Kellerman's flow theory? He'd asked, brows raised. It's flawed, I muttered, not even looking up. That conversation stretched into an hour. The next night, he returned with coffee and more questions. Months later, we were testing prototypes together. And years later, we were married, raising Leo, and running Medova, the company born in our tiny apartment, now worth hundreds of millions. From rain-soaked exile to chandeliers and marble. That is my journey. Your system reduced readmission rates at Northwestern by 20%, a silver-haired surgeon tells me now, shaking my hand with palpable respect. We've been trying to implement something similar for years. Actually, 22%. I reply with a small smile. And still climbing. Laughter ripples among the cluster of doctors around me. I feel their admiration. Not for my name.
Not for my family.
For me. Across the room, Grace stumbles through another explanation, her voice bright but hollow. Daniel listens, his arm loosening from her waist, his brow furrowing. Doubt has entered the groom's heart, and nothing she says will chase it away. And then, my father's voice cuts through, sharp and commanding. You need to stop this, he snaps, stepping toward me. You're ruining Grace's wedding. All eyes swing to us. His anger is too loud, too obvious. Before I can answer, Michael's voice slices cleanly through the tension. Calm, measured, undeniable. My wife isn't ruining anything. She was invited. She is the CEO of Medova, a leader in medical innovation. Her presence here is an honor to your daughter's wedding, not a stain. The words hit like gavel strikes. Guests nod subtly, whispers growing in my favor. I see recognition spreading, Medova, innovation, progress. For once, the truth is louder than my father's anger. Leo tugs at my skirt, eyes bright with innocence. His voice rings out, clear enough to cut through the ballroom noise. Mom, he asks, didn't you go to Stanford too? My stomach twists. I never told him not to speak of it. To him, my framed diploma at home and my college stories are just that, stories.
Truth.
Gasps ripple outward. Daniel's head snaps toward me, then to Grace. His jaw tightens, confusion sharpening into suspicion. Grace's smile freezes. Her eyes dart frantically between me, Daniel, and our parents. Her carefully constructed image is crumbling, piece by piece, and she knows it. I kneel, smoothing Leo's hair with steady fingers, whispering softly, "Not now, sweetheart." But the damage is already done. Daniel's gaze lingers on me, steady and searching, the air heavy with unspoken questions. And then, quietly, firmly, he speaks. "Amber, we need to talk." Daniel's hand is firm on my arm as he leads me away from the music and chatter, down a quiet hallway lined with gold-framed paintings. His face is taut, his jaw locked. When we stop near an alcove, he releases a breath as though bracing himself for surgery. "Tell me," he demands quietly, "the truth. Who are you?" For a moment I hesitate. Years of swallowing pain train me to silence. But Michael's words echo in my memory. We earned our place here. I meet Daniel's eyes. I'm Amber Collins, Grace's sister. The one your new in-laws told you was a failure. His frown deepens. But Stanford? The degrees? Her research? I shake my head. I put myself through school. Community college, then state. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. No family support. When I finally transferred to Stanford, it wasn't on their dime, it was mine. Every dollar I earned was supposed to go toward that future. But when I applied, I found the tuition fund gone. His eyes widen. The silence between us grows heavy. Grace, I continue softly, used it.
She took what was meant for me, built her image on it.
And when I confronted them, they cast me out. Daniel's shoulders sag as the truth lands. His polished image of Grace fractures, disappointment bleeding through his eyes. She told me you abandoned them, that you were unstable, unreliable. My laugh is bitter, quiet. Convenient, isn't it? A villain makes the lie cleaner. He exhales sharply, rubbing his temple. She lied to me. About everything. I don't gloat. I don't need to. His silence is enough. Later, I push open the gilded bathroom door, only to find Grace hunched against the marble sink, her veil crumpled in her trembling hands. Her reflection is fractured in the mirror, eyes rimmed red despite the thick layer of makeup. "You couldn't just stay away, could you?" she spits, voice trembling between rage and fear. "You had to ruin everything. My wedding. My reputation. My life." I step forward, calm, measured. I didn't say a word. All I did was walk into the room. "If the truth ruins you, Grace, maybe it was never yours to hold." Her lips tremble. Anger falters. For the first time, I see fear in her eyes, fear of exposure, fear of being seen for what she is. "You always think you're better," she whispers, voice breaking. "No," I reply softly. "I just stopped needing to pretend." I leave her staring at her own reflection, the mask slipping, cracks widening. The ballroom feels heavier when I return. Questions swirl like smoke, conversations shifting toward me. Surgeons press me for details on Moldovan's AI-driven monitoring. Investors lean closer, curious. Each word I offer only widens the gulf between Grace's fabricated brilliance and my lived reality. Grace re-enters eventually, her smile fixed, but Daniel no longer stands at her side. He lingers across the room, arms folded, watching her with quiet disillusionment. That distance is louder than any accusation. Guests notice. They always do. And then my mother swoops in, pearls glinting, her voice sharp with false cheer. "Oh, don't be fooled," she says to a nearby cluster. "Amber always loved attention. She's jealous, that's all." But the words fall flat. No one believes them. Not when my contributions are concrete, my reputation solid. In contrast, Grace's ignorance has already betrayed her. I don't argue. I don't need to. The room knows. The music falters. My father clears his throat, stepping forward with the authority he has always wielded. His voice rises above the crowd. "Enough of this," he declares. "This is Grace's day. We should honor her accomplishments." Silence spreads. Heavy. Tense. All eyes shift, not to Grace, but to me. To the absence of her defense. To the gaping hole where her truth should be. I don't speak. I don't move. I simply stand tall, letting the weight of truth settle over the room. And in that silence, the illusion collapses. The ballroom still hums with the weight of silence, fractured only by the tinkling of a lone champagne glass being set down too hard. Grace shifts, her gown pooling at her feet like a costume she no longer fits. My parents hover close, their proud masks cracked, trying and failing to patch the holes with brittle smiles. For the first time, I feel no need to fight them. I don't need revenge. I don't need their acknowledgement. I don't even need their love. What I have is far more enduring. I step forward, finding Daniel near the edge of the crowd. His expression is somber but steady. He looks at me like a man seeing clearly for the first time, the illusion stripped away. "Daniel," I say softly, holding out a small envelope. "This is for you." He frowns, confused, and takes it. Inside is a crisp stock certificate, shares in Moldova, enough to be meaningful, not enough to tip the scales. A wedding gift, born not from spite but from choice. "You built your career on helping patients," I continue. "Michael and I did the same. Maybe someday Moldova and your practice can build something together. That's what matters, not the lies." For a moment, his eyes shine with something unspoken, gratitude, respect, maybe even regret. He nods, voice low. "Thank you, Amber. Truly. I hope we can talk again. About the work, at least." The flicker in his gaze betrays him, though. Doubt. A crack in the foundation of his brand new marriage. But that choice is his to make, not mine. I won't be the one to push. I turn away, leaving him to his silence. Grace's eyes follow me, wide and desperate. Her lips part, but no words come. Without Daniel's steady hand at her side, without my parents' shield of certainty, she is left exposed. Naked in truth, though draped in silk. Her envy, her deceit, her theft. It all lies bare now. Not because I revealed it, but because she couldn't sustain the illusion when faced with reality. And in her silence, I see what she cannot admit, that she always needed others to prop her up. That without lies, she has nothing. I don't gloat. I don't stop to savor her downfall. I simply walk past. At the doors, Michael takes my hand, warm and strong. He doesn't need to say anything. His presence tells me everything I need to know. Leo skips beside us, his tuxedo jacket askew, hair flopping into his eyes. "Mom," he says with a grin, tugging at my hand, "you promised." Swimming pool time. The tension shatters like spun glass. I laugh, the sound startling even to my own ears. Light after such heavy silence. Michael chuckles too, ruffling Leo's hair. "Yes," I say, pushing the ballroom behind me. The pool. We step into the night air together, leaving marble and chandeliers behind. Leaving the past behind. Success is not revenge. It is resilience. The past can scar you, but it cannot define you, unless you let it. Strength isn't measured in the battles you win, but in the dignity you choose. And family? Family is not always the one you're born into. Sometimes it is the one you build with love, with trust, with respect. That is my legacy. And tonight it is enough.